we are trying to move things forward, not just continue to maintain the status quo.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So thinking about what you just said about being an anti-establishment independent candidate, how do you see yourself being able to work within Congress?
I'm going to be a pain in the a PITA is what I call it, PITA. I'm going to be a pain in the posterior Congress. I'm not going out there to advance myself. I'm not going out there to be a senator and then run for governor somewhere. This is not career for me. This is a 6 to 8 year position, and then we develop an organization within this district. If somebody comes along that has the same values and replaces me, that's what this is about. This isn't about a career in anything. So I'm going out to Washington D.C. to rage against the machine, to yell about what needs to be yelled out about, and I'm not going to be worried about where my office is located or who has a big there's too much to be done. And,
right, and I like what you just said about staying there for a fixed period of time to then be able to help develop the talent behind you,
right,
to be able to pass the torch. Because how many of our districts do we have people who've been there over our parents' and grandparents' lifetime as well?
Exactly.
Like, I love Senator Byrd. Senator Byrd. I lived in West Virginia for 7 years, and before y'all start with those memes about Senator Byrd when he was in the KKK, just stop.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, like Senator Byrd, someone who's very well respected, but I mean, he had been in Congress for 40 some odd years or whatever. I mean, decades, several generations within families at some point. So that's just one example. Strom Thurmond was another one, someone who was in Congress for decades. We have so many people like that. So I like that too. Like you're thinking about, okay, I'm going to do a job for this period of time. It's almost like an imposed term limit, right? To be able to make sure that another voice gets in there and continues the work.
Absolutely. Yes, it is. And I'm all for term limits too. If I can get enough people behind me in Washington D.C. to fight for that, we'll be fighting for that too, because I don't think the Constitution, I don't think the Founding Fathers had in mind career politicians. I think they had in mind public servants, that you come and serve your people, and then you go home and go back to private life. And I think that's the model that the Founding Fathers intended the country to be run on. And
well, they also didn't expect people to live to be like 70, 80, 90 years old either.
That's
probably. Medical advancement probably has extended what the Founding Fathers originally envisioned.
Well, yeah, and don't even touch on the Second Amendment when gun right rules were based on muskets and not on automatic.
Exactly. So, exactly. That's a whole nother. But getting back to what you were saying about getting big money out of politics, there was a piece I just read on BillMoyers.com, and it was about how big money can affect small races, and your races, particularly with the Koch brother connection, is definitely an example. In that instance, it was talking about basically how Zephyr Teachout in New York has challenged some of the super PAC contributors of her opponent, has challenged him to a debate. But I think that so many people overlook the way big money, especially in this election cycle, right? We do have a fractured national Republican Party. We have large interests who are either defecting to the Democratic nominee or they're just sitting out the presidential race, but they have their eyes on these down ballot races. So how do we, continue to support like your efforts, for example, in the 6th district as you move forward in your campaign?
Well, I'm trying to use Bernie's model, and I'm hoping to reach enough people across the country. If 10,000 former Bernie-crats give me $17, that's $170,000, and we win this election. It's plain and simple. We get the word out. There hasn't been a TV ad run by a Democrat in the northern part of the 6th district in the Indianapolis TV market for almost 20 years. So just getting an ad up is newsworthy, and it creates a story, and it helps to drive the message. So yeah,
that's so. Is the assumption is that part of your district just wouldn't vote Democrat, so they don't bother, or? It's
a pretty depressed economic district as well.
Okay.
and and there's just not a lot of money in the district, and without help from the DCCC or the DNC, and there hasn't been any help out here, you know, since the Honorable Phil Sharp was a congressman here, and that was back in the 70s and 80s. So.
Oh wow. Okay, so quite some time.
Right, and so the way I look at it is, the more I stand up, the more vocal I am about what I'm doing and what we're trying to get accomplished out here, the more people stand up behind me. Because Bernie won this district just like I did. In my primary, there were 4 other people. I was in a 5-person primary, last name Welsh, so I was at the bottom of the ticket, but yet we won by double digits. And we did that by getting out on the ground and working with Bernie people. So I know the Bernie people are out here. They're just not vocal. They're not active, but they vote. And so the more vocal I become, the more they have somebody to rally behind, and the easier to get this done. And we make that. If we make that first crack, on election night. That sends a message to the West Coast. It sends a message to the rest of the country that this can be done. It will be done, and the revolution goes on.
I love it.